Hello, I'm going to do a short video on how to trap moles today. My name's Steve Albano. I've operated a mole and gopher control service business in Northern California for 16 years, and I also manufacture mole and gopher traps under the name Trapline Products. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to use my Trapline mole trap today. I've actually been out doing some work for my service business the last several days. I did some setups 4 or 5 days ago, and I've checked some traps today. We've got several moles here that we've caught in our traps. I'll go ahead and I'll show you the trap. I'll show you how to set the trap, and then I'll cut in some video of the setups that we did a few days ago, and then I'll also put in some video of earlier today when I pulled these moles out of the ground. All right, here's a run we're going to set on. Right, it comes again. It's a little hard to see because it's been raining, but you can see this is a mole run coming through here, and this is mole activity through here, and this is a little raised bump from the moles. And there's a mole run that comes right between these two paving stones, these landscape elements here. And this is not a meandering tunnel. It's going straight along the edges of these barriers, and probably a tunnel that's going to get reused repeatedly, and it should be a good place to set up here. Now, let me get my camera set up here. And all right, so I'm just going to go, here's a run right here, and I'm going to go ahead and just dig in here and see what these look like underground. In this case, it's a little bit hard to tell what's the freshest on the surface because it has been raining, but once we open these up, we should be able to tell by how smooth the walls of the tunnel are whether these tunnels have been used recently. And yeah, here it is. It's back under here a little ways, but here's his tunnel, and this is actually a very good tunnel. Let me grab the camera and show this to you. See if I can get up in here and show it to you. There's his tunnels there. And these mole tunnels are not very big. They're maybe a couple inches in diameter. And again, it may be hard to see down in that dark tunnel, but the walls of these tunnels are very smooth, which indicates the mole has come through there repeatedly recently, and that is one thing I look for in determining a good place to set traps. So I'm going to go and get the camera back on the tripod here, and I'll go ahead and do this. Okay, so here we are. We've got a tunnel that runs right along the edge of this cement, and I'm going to go ahead and set a trap in each direction in this tunnel. Go ahead and I've got a separate video on how to set the trap, but I'll go ahead and get this set up, and that is set up and ready to go. Now, when I place these into tunnels, I hold the trap with my fingers by this spring winder handle, and I also put my finger against the back of this trigger pan to prevent it from moving backwards and having the trap spring as I push the trap in the tunnel. And these just fit in there. You have to move them around a little bit and get them in the tunnel, but if you keep your hand against that trigger pan, you can just push them right in there. And that's set up and ready to go. I'll get this other guy going in the other direction here. Now, maybe you can see this here. Once I place these in the tunnel, I bed the trap a little bit by pushing downwards and forwards on this on the handle of the spring winder, and that kind of drives it kind of rocks the trap forward and drives the front tines down into the soil just a little bit, which helps stabilize the trap and make it less perceptible to the mole. More likely you'll get a catch on the mole, and that's what I'm doing there. Those are ready to go. I'll put a couple of flags in here so that we can find our traps again. No bait on the mole traps, just go in like that. When you cover these back up, you want to be a little cautious not to move the traps out of position. The tethers I use are very short and lay right on the ground, so it tends not to happen. But if you have a longer string and you put dirt on top of that string, it may pull the trap out of its bedded position, and you don't want that to happen. So be a little careful with that. And I've just refill this right back over the traps like that, and filter a little dirt over there, and that's set up and ready to go. We'll go on and do a couple more. All right, here we're at a setup that we did a few days ago. It's been raining and I haven't checked these for several days, so I'll warn you, these guys, if there are moles in here, they may be a little past their sell-by dates. No, it's winter and it's cold, so they usually don't decompose too badly. But again, I've got two flags here. I've got two traps set, one in each direction in these tunnels, and I'm just going to dig these out and see what we got here. And so I just pulled these out by the K-lamp. There he is. So that's a broad-footed mole here, and occasionally we'll get a couple of them in here, and we do in this case actually. So in February I don't get a lot of doubles like this. I do in March, April, May, June when their mole populations are really high. But we're getting into the middle of February, and they're probably into their breeding season, and they're very active. I don't think they have young ones yet, but they are very active when they're in their breeding season, and they're moving through these tunnels, and that's the results. So I'm not going to reset on this particular location. I'm going to look around and see if there's fresh activity.